Hello, my name is Matthew Tesori, and what the project that I'm going to be doing today is on self-discipline. Self-discipline is a very important character that you have as a quality. Not everybody has it, but the people that do have it, they're better students, better athletes, better coaches, better athletic administrators. So that's the reason why I picked this. The introduction, the reason why I picked Lou Holtz's quote, the main reason being that he is known really as a successful head coach. He's coached some really good teams. He's won the national championship with Notre Dame. And he says without self-discipline, success is impossible, period. And one of the things that I want to point out here is that he really got his team to understand that every single individual on that team had to have self-discipline if they were going to execute properly on game day. And you saw that really from most of his teams year in and year out. So that's the reason why I introduced him. Self-discipline defined, the ability to control one's feelings and overcome one's weaknesses. Really, when you're thinking about it, having self-discipline is you having to be able to control yourself. And when you control yourself, you're making sure that you're not doing something that's going to weaken you. You're always going to do something that's going to better you off. The ability to pursue what one thinks is right despite temptations to abandon it. Again, it's having the ability to make sure that you're doing what is right at all times. When you're running a program, it's very important that you have clear expectations and you hold your players to those expectations every single time that you go out and you coach them. If there starts to be any cracks in what you do, they can tell that you're not really serious about what you're doing. And that's really the reason why self-discipline is being able to do what's right every single time. The book definition of self-discipline from Bruce Brown, he says discipline means focus, attention, and effort. Whenever you focus on what you are doing and putting maximum effort to that, that is having that self-discipline, knowing that you're doing the best that you can do. There are 5 types of discipline. There's attentiveness, enthusiasm, sportsmanship, respecting authority, and personal responsibility, and we're going to go into those shortly. Examples of self-discipline for athletes. One of the first things, being at practice, being attentive to his or her coaches every single day. Sometimes you get those players that are just kind of lackadaisical in what they're doing, and if you have those kind of players, it's obvious that they don't have self-discipline. So that's something that you need to make sure that you're focusing on and get them better at. Having enthusiasm every practice and every game. Again, one of those things that you have to deal with is making sure that you yourself come to practice having enthusiasm, but make sure that your athletes do as well. If they're not having fun, if they're not enthusiastic about what they're doing, they're not loving what they're doing, they're not going to put their full effort into it. So making sure that they come enthusiastic every practice, every game. Having sportsmanship for the game and for everybody involved in the game. When you're having sportsmanship, you have really a high respect for the game. If it's football, understand that, yeah, it's a physical game, but that doesn't mean that you don't respect the sport and you don't respect your coaches and the play. You have to respect the coaches and the players around you. Having respect for the authority of your coaches. Again, it's definitely one of those things to where you have to have respect. And if you expect later on in life not having respect for your authority, you're not going to get very far. So that's one of those things that you can learn right now while you're in high school and you're playing football and those kind of things. Having personal responsibility for your actions during the game and accepting the consequences of those actions. One of the big things with football is there are penalties, and if you do stupid things, you can get kicked out of the game. And not only are you hurting, say, yourself, but you're hurting your teammates and your coaches who are depending on you. So make sure that you have personal responsibility for what you do. If you go out and you get drunk the day before a game and you can't physically handle the game, again, that's on you. That's your own personal responsibility. I'm not with you as a coach, as a head coach, every single time that you go home and you do whatever you're doing. So you got to make sure that you're doing exactly what you need to do at all times. Applying self-discipline to coaching. Self-discipline as a coach is sticking to the rules and expectations that a coach has for his players at all times. A coach who keeps discipline for himself no matter what comes his way is what a true leader has to do. As a head coach, and as head coach this past year, you realize that there's a lot of situations that come up that you weren't really expecting. but having self-discipline and being able to deal with those situations and doing what you and being consistent every single time because you're disciplined in what you do is very important when you're coaching and when you're running a program. I have a few Bible quotes. The first one is from Corinthians. I really like this one. I've liked this one for a very long time, but I really think it shows what self-discipline is. It says, "Do you not know that those who run the race all run, but only one receives the prize? So run in such a way that you may win. Everyone who competes in the games exercise self-control in all things. That they then do it to receive a perishable wreath, but we an imperishable one. Therefore I run in such a way as not without aim. I box in such a way as not beating the air, but I discipline my body and make it my slave, so that after I preach to others, I myself would not be disqualified." And the thing really with this Bible quote is it's telling you that your mind needs to be able to control your body. If your mind doesn't control your body, then your body's going to do whatever it wants, and it can be sinful and all of those other things. So make sure that you're controlling your mind and you're having that self-discipline to do what you're supposed to be doing at all times. This next Bible quote that I picked, it says, "For the moment, all discipline seems painful rather than pleasant, but later it yields the peaceful fruits of righteousness to those who have been trained by it." Again, understand that having discipline is not an easy thing. It's going to be painful at times. And when it's painful, you have to understand that the reason why it's painful now is so that it's going to bear fruits of righteousness and things that are better for you later down the road. And yeah, it's hard right now, but in the end, it will be better. I have some movie clips. For time purposes, we're not going to actually watch them. But the first one I wanted to point out was in Rocky 6, Rocky's self-discipline. In this movie, he's quite older than normal fighters, and if you watch any of the earlier movies, he's has self-discipline to where he gets his bodies ready for these fights, and then he goes out there and stays disciplined, listening to his coaches, knowing what he's doing, and then going out there and winning. In the sixth movie, even though it's been 30-some years since his original fight, he still has it. He can still discipline his body to get in shape to be ready to box. And that's not something that's easy, especially for someone that's older, but he still can do it. These next two clips come from The Karate Kid. And the big thing with this is he actually did not know, Daniel didn't actually know why he was waxing the car and then waxing off. And Mr. Miyagi had a very specific way of him doing that. Okay, he wanted him to wax on and then wax off. Okay, wax on and wax off. By the time he gets to the next movie clip, he's frustrated. He doesn't know why he's just cleaning all these things instead of actually doing something, that he thinks is karate. And then Mr. Miyagi says, the reason why you've been doing this is because these are karate moves. You got stronger by doing this, and therefore he shows them in that clip. The research data on self-discipline, it says data has shown that students with a strong sense of self-discipline significantly outperform their less disciplined peers on a range of academic indicators, including grades, achievement, test scores, and attendance. Additionally, self-discipline appears to be a better predictor of academic gain than is intelligence. I mean, that's one of those things where if you work hard at something, you're going to be better at it than someone that's even smarter than you. Just because they have a higher IQ doesn't mean that they're better than you if you work hard and you have self-discipline in the classroom or on the field. And then to conclude, self-discipline is by far one of the most important qualities of characters you can have. Whether you are a student athlete or athletic director, having the self-discipline to do what is right day in and day out with an unwavering strength through the good times as well as the tough times makes your school and society a better place. And then here's my references.